Alright, let's get this one started. We're going to be breaking down a legendary pulse rifle. Yeah, I know. Who talks about pulse rifles these days? But we're going to be doing it. The three little words, because you know how much we love you, baby. I'm going to take the hit for you. I'm going to go get this and pick it up at the Crucible Master. And that opening clip says a lot about how you have to play with this rifle, but we're going to get back to that. First, we're going to pick up the gun. 150 marks will get it for you. If you have some foresight, get yourself some bounties ready, change characters, do it again, and by then you're going to have all the perks you need to go into Crucible. You don't need to max it out. I did, however, max it out to play some PvE with it, and I'll show, I think I'm only going to actually show one clip of it because it's pretty lackluster. But for now, let's focus on this. And the purpose of this clip was to show that once I mess up that jump, he's out of shotgun range, switch to the pulse rifle, and this is something you're going to be needing to do a lot. The first kill was also a shotgun kill. I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of pulse rifle kills, don't worry, but I just wanted to stress a point that you are going to have to get pretty proficient with your secondary rifle, or if you decide to have a shotgun. Whichever one doesn't really matter for the build in my opinion, but you are going to have to change your play style up a bit. And I'm going to be showing you a bunch of examples just like I do on every other review. That's just how I like to show things, because then you guys can tell exactly where things go right and when they go wrong. And that opening clip had two things. It had range and grenades. The third thing that you need with this is actually support. Either support from your teammates or when you're acting as support for them. That's where I found this gun really shines. Right now you're seeing it do what it does best, and that's the 3-shot kill at a distance. Now, how far does it go? This is pretty much the limit. That is the highest magnification scope, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. That's pushing it. That's sniper range, so don't expect too much out of this guy. Now, when I got a little bit more comfortable, I was able to do things like this, but you still have to treat all close engagements, well, you want to definitely treat them with prejudice. I was a shot up. That means I have to land 2 more solid ones to kill him. This is the classic 3 shot, so I think we got a good example of that. So how does this thing do in close distance? Well, it's definitely not as good, I'll tell you that. You can see how many shots it's going to take here because we're going to do a closer example. You actually have to land the whole burst, and the way that you actually have to lead the bullets with this gun makes it a little bit tougher than most. I was pretty slippery there, and this guy drops his knife. I never really noticed that. And I also didn't notice that I had no ammo for that, but I did have the double fisticuffs, so it was pretty good. If you're going to do close range engagements, this thing actually fires pretty well off the hip. It's something that you may want to try, but either way, when somebody's coming at you, you're going to need to backpedal and get used to that. Any kind of good strafing is going to be good, but remember, you can have a shotgun or a fusion rifle, which is going to keep you safe at close distance. This is actually the exact moment that I changed scopes, and I found something really important about this gun, that if I'm going to focus at ranged engagements, I need to do it well. So I went and looked at these. I'm like, range, oh, it's got to be this one, and usually I'm not a fan of that. You see I have the core on right now. I found that stability on the gun was not a problem. The core was to actually throw off other players' aims when I was at medium distance, so they don't land as many shots easily on me. I actually also switched to the ability that gives you more handling. It lets you pull up your aimer faster, because when you have a bigger scope, it brings it down, so you want to bring that stability back up, and then you can actually aim it properly. And I found that aiming this weapon was probably one of the most important things. You have to be precise. You need to land those 3 shots to kill somebody. Now is a good time to talk about its actual perks. It's got one that gives you extra precision damage when you get some body shots, so it gives you an extra multiplier when you hit them in the head. But either way, it's going to take you 3 shots to down somebody. So is it a big deal? Only when you're playing support. If somebody's already putting shots on them, you have the perfect gun to actually put on some pressure. And you see, this clip came before the engagement. This was all from one game, and this is where I made a mistake. There was no reason for me to charge. Just gave him an opportunity to do that, shotgun me or anything like that. The grenade was going to do the work. I could have opened up, and that's what you have to learn about a pulse rifle. You have to learn how to open up and keep that distance. If you try to use it like an assault rifle, which is what most of us are comfortable with, you're not going to do well. So that's why I'm going to put out a game that's going to show just a full match of using the pulse rifle. If you guys want to see something like that, so you guys can learn just how good it can actually be. Because I know a lot of people wrote this off as soon as they got the Stranger's rifle. They put it in the vault. It looked pretty cool. We were hoping to see more guns like that. They never came, so now we kind of just hold on to the memory in our vaults. Anyways, you're going to have to be pretty calm about this. You're going to have to wait people out. And this was pretty funny because I noticed that I hit all 3 shots, but I didn't hit all the bullets within each shot. It's a 3 burst, And this guy was close to me, and I thought that maybe if I hit him, it would have at least thrown off his aim so he didn't have such an easy time. So you have to learn to keep your cool. This was a pretty funny one because I'm like, okay, let's keep the window pretty small, and it happened to work out, and I'm just going to play it all cool, and it works out. And I think you definitely have to have that mentality that you're not going to go all crazy with a pulse rifle and try to engage people. And it's funny because I actually used all 3 of these weapons, which I'm going to be putting out reviews in the next little bit, all together. So I found that if you have a good, like almost any weapon can be made good if you just kind of adapt to it. Shotgun play, this is so easy. You duck, he's lost me off his radar. It's going to make it a lot harder for him to charge that fusion rifle. That's why you can't be too aggressive, but you also need to learn how to read your radar. And I want to go over just complete radar gameplay because I think it's really important to learn it. Now, it would have been probably easier here to actually charge him with a shotgun, but I wanted to show you that with a grenade, it's really easy to finish people off with a fusion rifle. It gives you a nice advantage, and I find that you really have to take good advantage of your grenades if you're going to run a pulse rifle, especially at close distance. Priming, guys, you can get that same effect from teammates that'll support you, but you need to get some sort of advantage just before they round. That's why usually if you can get them at range as they're running at you, then you're okay, but if they're already at close range, you need to change weapons. The next kill that you're going to see is going to be with the Rage shotgun, and I was pleasantly surprised by this weapon. I can't wait to put out the review on this. There's some really cool clips in it. Now, this is the one time you can actually feel good running into people without having to prime them with a grenade. When you have your special as a Sunsinger with reduced damage, you'll easily be able to take any gunfight. It doesn't matter what you have. But if you don't, you have to get used to just priming them. The grenades are a good way to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have to keep strafing. And this guy's attempt to get away from me was not very good. He didn't even duck. If he would have ducked, I wouldn't have actually been able to notice him, even though it was very obvious, until I got on top of that pillar. Then in the center, it would have flashed anyways, regardless of if he's ducking down. This is the PvE clip I was talking about. You're going to see this with Weapons of Light. So this is pretty much as good as it gets. That was with Weapons of Lights too, and it's not the best pulse rifle for PvE. I wouldn't suggest it. Otherwise, if you guys want to know if this was worth buying, you know what? You're going to have to make your own minds up about that. I'm going to tell you this though. When I was using it, I was managing to stay top 3. So there was a lot of times when I was able to consistently do well with this. Sometimes I was looking for certain clips, so I would get people to do certain things or put myself in certain scenarios. But for the most part, this rifle is doable, and it's especially good when you have a good team. But before I finish this video, I do want to say I forgot to talk about the third eye perk. It allows you to have a radar, which is funny because they must know that to do well with this weapon, it's all about positioning, because you need to know where people are. If not, you get wrecked. You need to be getting those shots off early. That's why I like the snap perk. But that's pretty much it. From there on, make up your minds, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys want to check out the full video of a pulse rifle game, let me know in the comments. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Either way, I'm Paper Cut to you with PlanetDestiny, and we'll see you next time.